Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and a new video on the Honda VFR behind me. In the last video I managed to remove all the stuck bolts in the airbox, drain the oil, and I kinda left it there. Not much in one video, but that's okay. And today we're gonna carry on with the valve clearance, fill it back with oil, a few other jobs, put the fairings on and hopefully make it to the MOT in time. Let's get straight to it. So just a quick recap of what I've done last time. I managed to drill and extract all the broken bolts holding down the airbox, warm up the engine and drain the oil. Now let's carry on. So I'm just going to loosen the bolts for the rear valve cover. The cordless ratchet makes the job a bit quicker. And out comes the valve cover. And look at that. Gear-driven camshafts, something you don't see very often, and it looks absolutely beautiful. Now it's time for the front valve cover. Unfortunately, this is a lot tighter to get to. So in order to get this valve cover off, I need to loosen and remove a few bits. The first one being the oil cooler. I need to loosen it and just lower it a bit. And I need to loosen and lower both coolant radiators. Now I can pop out the HT leads. But there's another bracket in the way, so I need to remove that as well. And now I can finally pull out the front cover as well. It was quick in the video, but it was a bit frustrating in real life. And here comes the first spark plug out. It's not looking too bad. And the second one. And the rear spark plugs. I need to fish those out with the magnet. And now that there's no compression, I can turn the engine over easier, and I can put it in the right position for checking the valves. And here we go. The first one feels a little bit on the tight side, but the feeler gauge does go in. And the exhaust valves are the same, a little bit on the tight side, but the correct size feeler gauge does go in. And the other cylinder on the rear is about the same. The exhaust valve is pretty good. The intake one is a little bit on the tight side, but okay for now. Right, I'm done with the valve clearance. I know I didn't show much, I was just showing the first pair of valves on this cylinder. That's okay. I chose not to go into too much detail because I was rushing it a bit. I'm trying to get it done for the day after tomorrow. That's when the test is scheduled, so I only have today and tomorrow morning to finish it, which is a bit tight. And the reason for the rush is because, well, it's my birthday on Friday, so I would like to take it out for a ride for my birthday. We'll see if that happens or not. Maybe that's a good enough reason to rush it, maybe not. But anyway, the valves are okay. A couple of them are a little bit tight. I'll at some point I'll do a proper video on how to check the valve clearance on this bike and do it. But for now they're good enough to ride, I believe. So I'll just leave it as it is. I'll put the covers back on here, put the top of the engine back, all the little bits I took off, put the drain plug in, fill it with oil, put it all back together in time for Thursday's MOT. So enough talking, let's get straight to work. I've just realized now I didn't think to get new valve cover gaskets, so I'll have to reuse the old ones. But before I reinstall them, I'm just going to put a bit of sealant in the sharp corners. And here's the rear cover going back in. Tightening the bolts to the correct spec. And I can put some new spark plugs in, just so I don't run the risk of dropping anything in the cylinders. And here we have some new Honda spark plugs and a piece of hose. Spark plug installation tool. And I'm just going to push the end of the spark plug in the hose, and it makes it a lot easier to install. Honda doesn't make spark plugs, by the way. They're still NGKs in a fancy packaging. I'm going to double check the gap as well before I put it in, although they're usually correct. And there we go. First spark plug is going in. And now I can tighten it to the correct specification. And the same for the other side. And the front ones. This is a bit difficult to see, so I'm just going to make this part quick. And now I can put the radiators back. And I've just realized I didn't film installing the front rocker cover, but trust me, it's on there. And it's pretty difficult to see anything while doing the job. I can put that awkward bracket back in place too. It might be easier doing it from the top. And that awkward rubber piece. Here I'm having trouble remembering how all the ventilation hoses were routed. And I'm obviously doing something here, but I can't remember what. Probably something important. And here's the bottom of the airbox going back in place. It's a real pain getting all the hoses reconnected. I really like the way Honda left these hoses accessible for throttle balancing. And some more bits to connect. There's one last vacuum line. I couldn't figure out how to put it back unless I put the airbox in place and try and use all sorts of tools to push it in from here. And I think that's the last bit to connect on the airbox. We can bolt it down now. And that's one of the spark plug leads. Vacuum hoses on the other side. And the last spark plug lead to connect. And it's time to start bolting the airbox down. Fortunately I didn't damage any of the flanges, and I've got some new shoulder bolts to replace the ones I've drilled out. And there we go, all in place, ready to install the new air filter. And now for the top of the airbox. And all the screws that are holding it down, quite a few of them. And we're done here. Now I can fill it up with oil. So I'm just gonna clean the drain plug and fit a new crush washer. Now I can install it and tighten it with the specified torque. A new oil filter from Honda and a tool for it. I don't know why they always put a tool in the oil filter box. I've got too many of them now. Maybe someone out there knows the reason. Let me know in the comments. And here's the oil filter in a separate box. That's all I really needed. And it's beautiful. It's always nice to get an OEM filter. Although I know this is not made by Honda either. A bit of clean oil to lubricate the O-ring. And it's ready to reinstall and tighten to the correct torque. And now it's time to pour some fresh oil, my favorite bit. And it's at the right level now. I'm just gonna switch on the extractor and fire up the bike. That V4 sound is one of the best out there. I'm just gonna check for oil leaks while it's warming up. And the oil level has dropped a little bit, so I'm gonna top it back up to the correct level, and we're done here. I still have to put the rest of the bike back together, but I'm going to stop waffling now and let you watch that in peace. And if you made it this far, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.